Hola gamers and welcome to Pixel Bodega. We're finally here with Yaya's build. So in this tour, please be mindful that I don't have any mods installed in my game, so my camera is still a little janky, and we know that I myself am not the greatest with maneuvering the camera around. And I'm new to the content creation of it all, so I'll do my best to give you guys a tour of her build for today's video. And then on Monday, we're going to be playing Thrifty Business again. And next Friday is when I'll give you guys the speed builds of me creating this build. So without further ado, adelante. Let's go. This lot, at least these bricks will look familiar. Those of you that watched the Kareem Let's Play got a sneak peek of the lot that I'm building on, and it's the Wake household lot. This is not where the brick road was, but I wanted to try to keep the terrain the same because we know that in uploading the build, it if you want to put it into your game, the terrain paints and changes do not come with the build so far. So until that change happens, I wanted to minimally change the terrain. And so in the end, I am going to give you a little tutorial on the minimal changes that I made to this terrain so that if you want to put them into your build, you can do that. So here is the build that I created. So as we see, I was inspired by the lighthouse on this original lot. I just wanted to create a more robust lighthouse. I wanted it to be a building that we can enter. And I also didn't want the curved walls because the storyline that I have for Yaya is that because she has chosen to tether herself to our world in this corporeal human form, she doesn't want boundaries. So purposefully, you will see that in this build, there is a lot of indoor outdoor space. You can see a little bit of a sneak peek of that from the overview, but there is a lot of creation with nature and gardening involved, and there is a lot of um there's a lot of windows in her builds as well. And there is a lot of community spaces because Yaya is here on Earth to observe humankind. So the best way for her to do that is to invite people into her home. So with that said, let's first take a tour of her garden. So let's follow Yaya into her garden. And I know we don't have gardening yet in Paralives, but I anticipate that we will get it at some point, and I'd love to update this build when we do, because I feel like creation is very important to Yaya's storyline. It is very important to who she is. And as you see here, I kind of made some items extremely overgrown. I made them way bigger than they are meant to be, and that's because Yaya has an exceptionally good green thumb. Um, I don't know if we'll have the capability to grow large items the way we can grow them in the Sims 4 country living pack. I don't remember. It's been so long since I played The Sims 4. But you know, the European inspired farming expansion pack. And I know in that pack we can grow prize winning squashes and stuff. But I'm able to mimic that in this game by just increasing the size of the objects. Okay, well, Yaya runs off probably to make some art. She really likes making art. Yep. Here is a look at the front garden. So, um, I really consider this area to be like a community garden of sorts, where Yaya could tend to her garden, but also teach other paras how to garden because she can't help but meddle in the goings-ons of humankind through her observation, right? I like the trope of, like the scientist that gets a little too close to her work. So, or her test subjects. So, that's the way I see Yaya currently. And yeah, I would love to take time once we have the gardening capabilities in Paralives to really turn this area into an entire community garden. Going up this main path brings you to the entrance into the lighthouse over here, and then the entrance into the home, which is over here, if you can see where my cursor is. I didn't do too much work with this side of the property. I just made sure that uh, she had garbage and recycling out. Now, if you do upload this lot onto your build, for some reason, and I've played around with the terrain to see if it was a terrain problem, but it's not. It's just a routing bug that's in the game currently. If your para is here and you're trying to send them up into the home, um, let me bring Yaya over here so I could show you what I'm talking about. If you're trying to send your para up and down this small hill, their pathing will change direction. Like they don't take a straight path, but that is an issue, I believe, that is in the game. Yeah, she was in the lighthouse and I don't know where she went. She took a whole completely different path that we didn't even see her come down the road. So I know that there is a bit of a bug in the game where the paras just don't always take the most direct path. You see, look at her going that way again. She's going across the street just to get up here. But the Paralives team, they're working diligently on the bugs, and I put in a few bug reports while making this build because the bugs in the game were part of what took me so long to make this build. So as we move up here, if you see here, I kind of sloped the pathing up onto the deck, and she can get up there just fine. But when I first created this, again, I left the terrain as it was on this lot. I just changed the terrain paint, but I didn't elevate or decrease the terrain at all until my stairs were glitching. I had stairs here going onto the deck, and they kept glitching. The stairs on my back porch kept glitching, so I had to do this little terrain trick also. And I'll tell you where else I had some glitchy stairs once we get into that room. But for now, since Yaya is in the lighthouse painting, I wanted to show you that area first. So for the lighthouse, like I said, there was already a lighthouse here, but I had my own vision for a lighthouse. This is similar to lighthouses I have built in The Sims. Before. I didn't use curved walls purposefully because I know that so many of us want curved walls in these types of games, but I don't want curved walls if they're not going to be functional. And as it stands right now, you can't put windows on curved walls. And windows is very important to Yaya's space because she cannot feel claustrophobic. So you will see not a single curtain on purpose. I did not forget curtains. Yaya does not want a curtain. If Yaya could have no doors, she might consider no doors as well. But I wanted this lighthouse to be filled with a ton of windows and light to be let in. But it is in the same exact area of where the other lighthouse was. It's just much larger. And the home is also much larger. As you see that the lighthouse juts off here. It doesn't come off the cliff entirely, but the home does. The home comes off the cliff just a little bit. There is a foundation that helps the structure, make sense. But inside the lighthouse, we'll go from the top down. So I used a lantern here to be the lighthouse lamp. And I put a games table up here, a bench, some more plants for Yaya to take care of, and yoga mats, and um, these picnic tables with the barbecue. Now, I don't know how the functionality of barbecues works in the game. I know that there are barbecues in public spaces. I have yet to see paras use the barbecues, and when you click on them, nothing happens. So my assumption is that you need to know barbecue recipes in order to use the barbecue. That being said, this is not like The Sims where you can just click on the barbecue or you can just click on the stove to cook. In order to cook, you need to click on the fridge. So, um, there are no notes in build mode that say that the barbecues are not functional, like the stools aren't functional and the roofs have some issues that they're still working on. So because that note isn't there, my assumption is barbecues are functional, and I just have not yet unlocked their functionality. So that being said, because Yaya wants a community space, I, put a grill up there. And I set these yoga mats for a morning. The sun rises on this side of the lighthouse. So I set these yoga mats ready for, like, a morning salutation. And although the lighthouse is pristine, I didn't put any cracks on the building, on either of the structures, because they're new. Yaya just moved in. While there's a lot of wear and tear on other areas in Melino, I did not want wear and tear on a new structure, but the vines make sense to Yaya's canon because she's creation itself. So she can create this viney aesthetic that she likes. So, okay, so this is the top of the lighthouse, and I'm going to turn on the UI for a moment so that I can page sound. So as you see that here, I created a terrarium. There we go. So I created a terrarium full of windows where Yaya can kind of experiment a little with her creations. So the garden that she has in the front of her property is a garden where, yeah, she can experiment with the growth and size, but people don't look at that too weird. They just think that she has an exceptional green thumb. But here, where she has some other items, there might be a little bit of an uncanny feeling to these plants in this space. So if we see here, she has a little seating area in the back here overlooking the ocean. And then here is where you see some of the plants in her terrarium, where these plants have some have natural colorings, um, but are larger. Some have unnatural colorings, some are just larger. And she has it set up here as an art class for people to come and draw inspiration from these unnatural plants. And I love that we have the capability of doing that in the game. The color wheel is a complete game changer. So I really love the fact that we can do that. And Yaya has a couple of canvases left that she um, has has every time I stop to do something else, Yaya wants to draw, which is great. So he on the front porch, it's just a simple front porch because, she wants the flow of people to go into the lighthouse. This is the more community-oriented zone, but there are also community-oriented spaces in her own home as well. Um, Yaya, in my headcanon, does not have the need for eating, sleeping, or, using the facilities. She will get clean if she needs to, based on getting dirty, doing a task, but, she doesn't have her own kind of bodily need for cleanliness, because she's not human, you know. She's posing as a human form. So again, I don't have mods in my game, but if there were a mod that made this type of gameplay capable, I would definitely do that for Yaya. Okay, so let's get that UI off. We don't need that. And here we are. So when you come up onto her porch, you go to the left to go into Yaya's home. And in the front of the home, this porch is all connected with both the lighthouse and her home. And so I put a little bench here, and I felt like we don't have bikes yet in the game, but or the ability to ride a bike, I should say. But so I liked using this little item, and I kind of use the advanced toggle to lean it up against her fence. She has her mailbox over here because she wants to invite people in, even the mailman. I know that I know that there may be mailboxes in debug, but or the Paralives version of debug, but I wanted to go into this build series um completely vanilla with what we have in the game. No mods, no debug items, if that's what Paralives calls it, debug. And yeah, just building with, I'm okay using some cheats, obviously. That's not the issue, and this is not a criticism to anyone that uses mods or debug or anything. I will probably utilize some of those things in other series later down the line, but for right now, I personally don't see the need to download a bunch of mods right now in a game that is still in development and is only a month and a half old, or almost, I guess, 2 months old now. So yeah, so I want to go into this build series completely vanilla, and I'm used to vanilla gameplay because I played on console for so long with The Sims 4. So, um, I'm testing my capabilities with Paralives in terms of building. So, could I have built something more dynamic with, mods and more cheats? Sure. But I want to show people that you don't need them. I think I like my builds and I hope you do too. So, in any case, here's this little front bench that we have here, and you'll see that there are many, many plants. Where in Kareem's build, I only forgot a plant until the end. I did not forget any plants in this build because, again, Yaya is creation, right? So, I wanted her build to be full of life. She also has a side entrance over here. This is the entrance into her mud room. I considered putting another entrance into the lighthouse here so she could just go straight across, but I don't think it's a big deal for Yaya. She doesn't get tired or anything like that, so she can just walk around. But she does have a small chair and a fallen log Yaya would not destroy. So if you listen to Yaya's story, destruction is birthed from creation. So she doesn't see the need to further destroy. She only is interested in creating. So there are no cut flowers. Like I know we have flowers in vases in the game, but I didn't utilize any of them. All of what Yaya has as far as plants go are potted plants and plants that are in the ground, nothing cut. So this log was not cut. This is from a tree that fell on its own, and she's honoring the stump by utilizing it still and giving it a new purpose. And here she has her little cat cup of coffee. um if there were pets in the game already, which I'm sure we'll be getting soon because there's so many, I mean, we've been told we are getting pets, but there are so many nods to pets in the game already. Yaya's home would be full of pets as well. She just wants life and she wants to be connected to life. And as you see that we have a ton of windows here, her front and um side door are all French doors. And you'll see a lot of glass elements in her home. But let's go into her um, foyer. Okay, so right before we walk in, while we have a view of the ceiling, I want to show you all of the ceilings are painted to reflect the room. Where I'm not going to fuss with the camera in each and every single room to show you that the ceilings are painted, but the ceilings are all painted. Some of them are these wooden slats. Some of the ceilings have a more kind of coffered type of wooden ceiling. Some of them are white. Depending on the room, the ceiling matches the vibe of the room. Okay, so here's the top view of Yaya's home without giving you too much of a sneak peek of the rest. This is the foyer of her living space, where you enter in through here, and she has a little room to sit and relax, listen to music. She does own a guitar, which is in her bedroom, so the case is here in case she ever wants to take it out to like a community event or share with people. This entrance is to this entrance here is to a courtyard space that I put in her home, which was the main this is was the main inspiration for me to make this home, having sort of outside space in the home, and as well as in the lighthouse with the terrarium that you saw, was my number one inspiration. So I did not copy any floor plans or anything, which I usually do when I have a big build because I tend to like to build small. Building a small, tiny home in The Sims 4 is a one, two, three, and no floor plan needed. But for larger builds, I usually like to look up architectural plans or something, but I didn't this time. I just worked with what I envisioned in my mind and then created, sort of like Yaya, you know. So um, I gave her a mix of um, styles because number one, we don't have a lot of items in the game yet. But for Yaya's storyline, my headcanon is that Yaya is mimicking humanity. So she doesn't know much about style. She's just bringing together things that she likes and then mimicking them in ways that um make sense in, to her, but you know, they might not 100% make sense to like an interior designer, you know. So, that being said, this is just the waiting area. So, I had space for a seating area here. I was gonna put two chairs, but I felt that Yaya would have some slippers for her guests to take off their shoes and change into slippers. And she can sit here and listen to music. She doesn't have a TV in this space. Um, but that's okay. Yaya doesn't need one. So, if we go through this hallway, this is literally just a hallway, you can go into the mudroom. So Yaya does have laundry, and I know that these don't work yet, but when they do, we're ready. I considered also putting a clothing line outside, but I didn't. You guys let me know if you think I should put a clothesline up. Maybe I'll wait until we have functional laundry and do that in my own gameplay. But this is just a mud room. I made sure to have her rain boots, or wellies as they say in the UK. I also gave Yaya a cane. I love that we have so many accessibility items in the game. And while Yaya doesn't need a cane, I feel like, she's cosplaying humanity. And being that she is cosplaying an older person, you know, she might want the cane to help further her cosplay some days. But that's why the parafolk finds her a little bit weird, right? It's like, she's using a cane one day, and she looks so aged and so wise, and another day she's leading a yoga class, or going for a hike to the hilltop. Like Yaya is an anomaly to the rest of the parafolk. There is also a small little half bath here. And there's nothing to shout about with the half bath. But it is here for guests to use because the main bathroom does not have outside access outside of Yaya's bedroom. It is connected to her bedroom, and that's the only entrance in and out of the main bathroom. So I um, made this half bath over here for guests to use. Now we're on to the kitchen. And as you can see, there are a ton of. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this tour on the wrong save. And there is a garbage can here. I realized that I had forgotten a garbage can. So if you choose to put this into your game, there is a garbage can here. I gave Yaya a large kitchen with windows facing the beach area, the ocean view, as well as windows into the terrarium, or rather, it's not really a terrarium, but we'll see it when we get to it. And everything in this kitchen is functional. Everything works. Yaya has cooked already. She has used the dishwasher. You know, the only thing that doesn't work are the stools because they just don't work in the game yet. But this is her kitchen, and as you can see from the outside, the kitchen kind of hangs over the cliff, just up one tile. I just wanted to make sure that there was something a little special happening with this cliffside home. Let's go into the terrarium now because as you saw, there was an entrance. So into the terrarium, there's an entrance here from the kitchen, and this is the entrance from the foyer. And I've made a little chicken coop. So this isn't a terrarium really, it's an aviary. That's why Yaya has fresh eggs. I apologize for the honking outside. That's why Yaya has fresh eggs on her counter because she owns chickens. And so the birds come into the space as well because it's open to the elements on the outside. So flying birds can come and go as they please because Yaya does not want to have anyone feel trapped. And the chickens are comfortable here. This is the entire area is their chicken run. I use this little home that's like a little barn toy for children. And I use that as the chicken coop. And the chickens and little chicks are toys as well as these birds. And I put in a fruit tree and a little bush because I know that the chickens would really love a little bit of cover. The birds would love a tree, and Yaya gets to stock her fruit bowl. um, so yeah, so this door here leads into the foyer, which is right over here. And then this door here leads into the kitchen, which is in this area right here. This is our mudroom and bathroom. This is the hallway that connects the mudroom to the foyer. So if we go back into the kitchen, through the kitchen is the dining room. And this is where you'll see more of a mix, like you saw a bit of boho styling in her foyer. You saw a little bit of modern in the kitchen. And over here, we have a bit of traditional. And there is literally a large table because Yaya wants to be able to entertain as many guests as possible. This is the antithesis of what I would want in my own home. But Yaya wants to host a ton of people all the time so that she can observe um closely. And that's it. That's all that's here in this room is just the dining area. And I figured, having this area would be great for gameplay and storylines. So Yaya would have these huge dinner parties, probably like on a weekly basis, where the townies would be over the moon to get an invite to. They would be exclusive, but only because she would want to have close observations of whoever was on her mind at the time. So they would be, although Yaya is not the type to be about exclusivity, for these dinner parties, they would be, because she just would invite the townies that she wants to have a very close eye on for that week. And the townies don't know. They have no idea that she is observing and has a little bit of a hand in their lives. But nonetheless, they want a ticket to this exclusive dinner party each week. So they come to her events in hopes to uh, be chosen for the dinner party. And apart from the exclusivity of her dinner parties, Yaya is very welcoming and open, a bit, of a free spirit. So not elite, not part of the elitism crowd at all. I do have plans on on creating characters that fit that mold. But not Yaya. This dinner party, people think of it as an elite uh thing, but for her really is just about observing. Um and so, yeah, I love that, this again is cliffside. So I put these huge windows here. Now, when I saw this fireplace, I really had an idea of a sort of late 60s, early 70s kind of, um, the double-sided fireplace where going from the dining room into the living room, we would have access to the fireplace. That didn't work out as far as the wall went. I tried building, a partition wall. I tried building, with the clear wall. I forget what it's called, but I tried building the wall in so many different ways, and it just wasn't happening. So I just put two. I put one on each side, and we can pretend that you can see from this side into the dining room. When I saw this fireplace, and with the idea that I had of the aviary in the middle, I was leaning towards a kind of mid-century modern feel, and I wanted a conversation pit here. Whew, that was extremely difficult, and I had to just abandon that, because in order to get down into the conversation pit, while we do have platforms already, with early access, the platforms just don't work properly. I would save my game and come out. When I would come back in to build some more, my stairs leading down into the platform, I literally had the platform about this size, about the size of the rug, with smaller couches here and a small staircase going this way. Um, every time I came into the game, my staircase would be going up. So every time I wanted to um I came back into the game, my staircase would be going up. I don't know if it's because this room has vaulted ceilings. That's the issue. I tried removing the vaulted ceilings, and I don't know if the game was still just recognizing it as a vaulted ceiling or what. But yeah, this was quite difficult. Um and so I had to just abandon the conversation pit. But this room is a conversation room. There is music only. There is There is no TV on this property at all. Um, so this isn't another area for Yaya to invite, host, really to observe. And sitting here in the um, room, in the living room, you have a full view of the aviary. You can see the aviary from any room that is connected to the aviary. So here from the kitchen over here on this side, here from the living room. Soon we'll get to Yaya's bedroom, which is on this side, and you already saw the hallway that we quickly walked through in the beginning of the tour. So before we move into Yaya's bedroom coming up, this is her bedroom over here on this side. Uh, Let me show you quickly the front porch. So the front porch, I'm sorry, let me show you the back porch. The back porch is nothing too exciting or special. Again, I had to slope the terrain so that Yaya could use and maneuver this porch because the stairs would glitch. So the three stairs that I had problems with and I had to just abandon or else I would never get this built out were both of the stairs for the front and back porch, as well as the stairs that I had for the conversation pit. I don't know why these stairs would be functional when I um created them. I was play testing as I went through, and then they were no longer functional when I would come back into my save. So I had to just abandon the stairs and go with terrain manipulation. So if you decide to upload this build, I know that the terrain does not come with, so you will have to manipulate the terrain yourself to get this build to work. So that's why I was trying my best to work within the footprint of the terrain itself, at least for the heights. I feel like terrain painting is something that's quick and easy, and you can make it your own using terrain paints. But as far as the height adjustments, I didn't need for you to have to adjust that. If we come out just a little further, you can see that this back porch does have that winding path that goes and connects back to the front over here. Well, you're getting a little sneak peek of Yaya's bathroom. But let's go into her bedroom. From here, you go into Yaya's bedroom. Okay, so you can see here that this door is from the foyer. So Yaya has quick access to her bedroom. Her guests have to go either through the terrarium to through the aviary to get into her kitchen or take the hallway. Um but this door gives immediate access to her bedroom. I did give Yaya a laptop for functionality, but I felt like for Yaya, she wouldn't have a need for technology because she knows everything. You know, she knows everything that ever was in all dimensions, not just this one. So she doesn't have to search or, you know, she doesn't have to watch media because, she knows how it was created, you know. Um, and so having all the knowledge of everything, I thought, what would someone that knows everything in all of existence need? And perhaps to relax, she might want to game a little bit or go online and talk to more people so that she can observe um, humans a bit better. She has a bunch of books here because maybe she likes to reread some of her favorite stories, or maybe these are journals in which she's taking notes on humanity. So, I had, just a bunch of different ideas for how I wanted Yaya space to look. And she doesn't have a need for a bed. That's why she has an entire couch here and a chair because she doesn't need to sleep, right? So, but the purpose of the bed is if she has a guest that requires recharging, she could offer her bed to them to stay the night and she could observe them. I know that that sounds a little creepy, and I know I've been off the creep wagon for Kareem's Let's Play, but for Yaya, it's all in the name of science. So this is why I put this little chair here in the corner so that if you stay at Yaya's, she can watch you sleep. Um, and then here on this side of the room, I did a small little gallery of you know, things that Yaya likes. So life, creation, plants, animals, people, music. Yaya does enjoy the things that humanity has created, like the books and the music. So she likes immersing herself in human things. And then she has full access to view her aviary from her bedroom. So that's why she has her couch right here. You can see the little chicken here and her chicks, and the birds over there on that side. And I hope we get animals at some point that I could change the stuffed animals for later in life in the game. But then through this door is the bathroom, and I made a sort of shower steam room here with a bench, some plants that like humidity, and you know, uh, shower products. She has extra loofahs for guests that come in, and she has the typical things. You know me and bathrooms. These are just the typical things that are in a bathroom. Oh, you can't see the toilet because of the light. She has a toilet as well, of course. And while she doesn't have a need for, bodily functions, she does use her shower and the steam area so that she can relax, so that she can be close to water, um, so that she can contemplate. And, although the bathroom is through her room, she does offer this to guests who stay over, obviously. Um, and yeah, that's the end of it. So if you notice, I kind of have a rainbow theme going on with Yaya. If you notice with her clothing, and here we have green in these two small rooms. We have an indigo over here. We have yellow in this room, primarily yellow. We have this being the red room. We have this one being the orange room with the chairs also being a sort of orangey red since they're between the porch. Believe it or not, our bathroom is our purple room. Proof that this is the purple room. Hold on, I have a second item that is also proof. I mean, there's purple in the rug as well, but we have a purple plant and washcloth as well, hand towel. And then this is the blue room, and she has her rainbow plant pots here as well. So that's it for Yaya's. build. The link for my Steam workshop is down in the description. Please remember that on Monday we will be playing Thrifty Business, and then on Friday you'll get the speed builds for Yaya's. I'm not sure whether or not I will speak in that speed build. It might just be a process, but I'm not sure. I like to talk, so we'll see how I finish editing that, but it's a long one. I kind of want to show you some of the failed works as well, because again, like I said, I had a lot of trouble in creating this build, not only with the stairs, but I had a completely different build on this lot before this one, and just everything was all glitchy. I'm not gonna include that. That was days of work that I had to completely scrap and abandon for the sake of moving on. So, that being said, if you put this into your builds, I hope the terrain manipulation isn't too difficult for you. While I am sharing these builds and the terrain is still quite buggy in that way, I don't want to manipulate these lots too much because I want you guys to be able to put these in your builds if you want to. So um, that's why I am keeping things mod free, keeping things vanilla, and keeping things the terrain as they are for now. I hope that Paralives does fix the terrain issues that we're facing, so that I we can manipulate terrains and you guys can upload the bills as they are intended with the terrains that we manipulate. There's our girl.
Huh.
So yeah,
Mm,
this is where Kareem's lot was. So I did mention in my last Kareem Let's Play that I was
mm,
building on the lot right across the street.
huh.
So if you missed that little Easter egg, you've got to watch the end of the videos. Now, Yaya, why are you um moving away from us? I turned the whole camera around so that we could see your
Mm,
face and you decide to turn. Girl, stop
mm,
playing.
huh.
In any case, what was I saying? I can't. Yaya threw me all the way off. But I wanted to thank those of you who have been patiently waiting for Yaya's builds. I wanted
Mm,
to thank anyone who
huh.
missed
Mm,
missed the fact that I didn't
huh.
upload this week. But I want to thank you for your patience. Now that my workflow has been reorganized and changed, I should be able
Mm,
to have some shorts
huh.
up, YouTube
Mm,
shorts, Instagram reels. So please follow me on
huh.
Instagram at Pixel Bodega NYC, and I hope to see you there.
Mm,
um with that
huh.
being said, if you made it
Mm,
to the end of this video, then you're a real one. Yaya knows it. And you can call me Pix. So thank you again for watching, and that's all for now. Adios.
mm.